Escalating geopolitical tensions, a change inside the White House, and the Fed's uphill battle with sticky inflation are top of mind for investors as we kick off 2025. Amid the challenging environment, the Eurasia Group's top risks of 2025 is out. Topping that list is the risk that G0 wins, meaning a lack of concentrated power driving the global agenda could hurt international order. Joining us now, we've got Ian Bremmer, Eurasia Group's founder and president. Ian, thanks for being here. So to what extent does Trump's presidency fuel that top risk for you of a fragmented global leadership agenda?
It's the most recent development, but I mean, it's more of a symptom than it is the underlying causes. The underlying causes have been coming for a long time. It's the fact that when the Soviet Union collapsed, Russia wasn't integrated into the West, and Putin blames the United States for that and now has an alliance with North Korea and Iran. It's China being integrated into the global economy, but not aligning with Western values, not opening its political system, certainly not becoming more of a free market economy, and the West not being happy about that. And then finally, it's people across the advanced industrial economies, especially in the US, that are no longer prepared to support the U.S. being the global sheriff or the architect of free trade, or even the promoter of democracy, because they don't think that their leaders work for them. And so, as a consequence of those things, one of the things you get is much more unilateralism, much more rejection of that old U.S. exceptionalism and leadership in a multilateral way, supporting rule of law. And Trump is a huge symptom of that. So the answer to your question is yes. But there are things that have been happening that make that the reality we have today. And so now you have a law of the jungle, which is great if you're the apex predator. Mm-hmm. But my God, it's a real problem for everyone else playing defense.
And Ian, talk to me a little bit about how the U.S.-China relationship then plays into all this. If we do see a further breakdown of relationship here between the world's two largest economies, just some of the risks that then poses, and how you're expecting Trump maybe to handle some of these engagements.
Yeah, I think we do expect that the U.S.-China relationship is going to break down from what has been a relationship of no trust under the Biden administration, but nonetheless a lot of effort to stabilize the relationship. Just in the last year, some 25 high-level bilateral channels being established and regularly engaged in, from the economy to technology and climate to military relations. I expect those will mostly break down. And Trump fully intends to put significant tariffs on China in the early weeks of his administration. I think we'll also see a significant tightening of export controls in technology and an expansion of areas of the economy that are seen to be relevant to national security and therefore should be decoupled. You'll also see pressure from Trump on other countries that are acting as pass-throughs for Chinese manufacture. The only part of their economy that's working is that export sector into the United States, especially Mexico, but also India, also Vietnam. Now, Trump is always interested in cutting a deal. And he's the only president that ever invited a Chinese leader to the inauguration, even though Xi Jinping's not going to come. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they are going to have conversations, and I suspect there'll be talk about, hey, Trump is willing to talk to this guy. Might they figure something out? But what the Chinese will offer in response will be nowhere close to what will be required to back the Americans down. So, yeah, these are the two most important economies in the world, and I fully expect that the relationship is not only going to head towards a trade war, but will also have a feeling of increasing Cold War that other countries in the world that want to do business with both are going to have a hard time navigating.